So this video is actually related to Star Wars The Acolyte, that series that actually came out as one of those shows that had quite questionable shit, basically. And what exactly are we going to be doing at this time? I'm going to be very, maybe it hasn't actually come to you yet, but the show's been canceled. Basically, the show has been canceled, and there are people who are angry at this, and there are people who are celebrating that the Acolyte has been canceled.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yeah, I'm just gonna get this out of my system already. And I do want to actually get into this to see how others are reacting to it, because when I check this up myself, this is from Rev, by the way. The title of the video is called Bigots Got Star Wars The Acolyte Cancelled. This comes from Rev. He's the drama VTuber. And let me tell you, he doesn't fail when it comes to the drama. But at the same time, he's on the unbiased side of the internet. He's on the realist side of entertainment. And yeah, that's something great. Anyway, let's just get on with it.
Hey, what's up, guys? Rev here. So let's face it, it's been a very rough year for the Star Wars franchise. Many people are predicting that Star Wars Outlaws is going to be one of the biggest flops in the gaming industry this year. And likewise, Star Wars The Acolyte was a very disappointing series. And many people who are fans of The Acolyte have always tried to deflect any criticism directed towards this series or its creators. In fact, when it was revealed that the audience score for this series was below 15%,
oh shit!
Of misogyny and racism.
Oh, yeah.
Journalists came forward to say that this low score was not embarrassing for the show and its creators, it was embarrassing for the people leaving negative scores. And on top of that, this show was just a disjointed and boring mess that somehow managed to make the concept of lesbian space witches lame. In fact, the show itself gives the South Park parody a run for its money. In fact, we saw the star of the series, Amanda Seyfried, release a diss track on her critics that she labeled as bigots while there were still episodes left to air. So Color Me
Oh my god.
It was announced that
this is what I hate, especially when it comes to shows that are failing the actors defending the fucking show. Oh my god, this is what I don't like it. This is what I don't like about this. This is what I don't like about this. It's already bad enough that the show is being given backlash. Given that this show is already terrible to begin with, but it's even worse if people are defending what they believe is good, but is still actually bad. They don't know exactly what they're talking about.
Acolyte has been canceled after one season.
Do you know why The Acolyte was actually canceled in one season? For anyone who's actually watching at all on my stream, or maybe in the YouTube video that I'm going to be releasing, why is it that it was canceled? Simply because the storytelling does not make any sense. And there are a lot of plot holes when it comes to the usage of the Force, and at the same time, manipulating others to actually say that this is actually better than every other show that came before. Wow. Why am I not surprised that this show had actually failed? Huh? Why am I not surprised that this show had actually failed?
Yeah, I hope you were sitting in your chairs for that unexpected twist right there. This is what failure looks like. Imagine having a $180 million budget and one of the most beloved and profitable IPs out there with generations of fans, and you can't even get past the first season. Now, just like with the previous discourse that was happening while the show was airing, now people are trying to deflect any criticism that was directed towards this series in wake of its cancellation. Let's see some of the excuses and deflection that these fans of the series are trying to make. So here's one tweet saying, "The Acolyte being canceled is just another example of toxic internet hate. The show never got a chance to breathe, and half the people hating on it have never even watched an episode. It's not my favorite piece of Star Wars content, but it certainly didn't deserve to be axed." Another user saying, "Ironic how the people claiming that The Acolyte killed Star Wars are now responsible for killing Star Wars stories and characters before they had a chance to find their feet and grow. That is so ridiculous. Imagine that pitch to the studio. Yeah, I'm going to need $180 million to make this series. The first season is really just planting the roots. It's going to get..."
Look, the reason why it actually failed is because Disney was paying people to actually like it. But the hype that surrounded The Acolyte was real. the responses of people who were actually doubting this, they were already just ready to not tune in. And for those who are only tuning in, they're only going to tune in to actually post it on Patreon public, dissing the entire thing. That's the only reason why they were actually watching it, so that if they actually record this and they react on it, they put it on Patreon for everyone else to see. To tell others to steer the fuck away from Disney, because how they make Star Wars is not the way Star Wars is supposed to be made in the first place.
Good in the second and third seasons, that's where people are going to start tuning in. And oh, by the way, we're going to need another couple rounds of $100 million budgets for those as well. It's ridiculous. You shouldn't need a full season to plant your feet in the ground here. You should be good from the start. Why do you think series like Game of Thrones were so successful? Did it take them multiple seasons to rope you in? No, it was good right from the start. However, we see more excuses like this. This user saying, anyways, a huge, gigantic FU to everyone who review bombed this without even watching. Either these people are very disingenuous or they are just naive as to how all this works. If this show was profitable, it would get another season. The review bombs don't mean nothing when it comes to whether a show gets a second season or not. It could have a 1% rating on the audience score, but if it was profitable, there would likely be a second season. And I think all these claims we just looked at and some of the further claims we're going to talk about are greatly reflected in this TikTok. Let's listen to what this person had to say.
So the Acolyte was canceled. And it doesn't really matter whether or not you liked the show or not. Because the truth of the matter is, regardless of whether or not you liked this show, it was set up to fail from the beginning. When The Acolyte was first announced as a female-run show with Leslie Headland at the helm,
yes,
black femme and a diverse cast of characters, unlike we had seen in a Star Wars project before, the review bombers took to the internet before the show even had a chance to air. Amandla Stenberg, who not only gave a phenomenal performance as Osha, but also as her twin sister May, had no choice but to stick up for themselves and defend herself against the vitriol and bigotry that she was receiving because Lucasfilm did not protect her. Lucasfilm didn't do anything to protect the cast and the crew of The Acolyte from all.
Well, all because they are actually defending this thing. Unfortunately, one of our Filipino actors as well, Filipino-Canadian actors, he was in The Acolyte as well, and he was disappointed when The Acolyte got cut. That season 1 would be the end of it, okay? He had fans who didn't understand all the political and social intrigue and all the behind-the-scenes bullshit that The Acolyte had gone through before it got produced and then released for everyone to see. Look, let me just say this. I'm very sorry for those fans for those fans who got disappointed of The Acolyte, but you guys, you don't understand the real timeline as to how all of this ugliness is coming. And does it have to be spelled out for you guys that Star Wars is more than just what it should be? I haven't watched the original trilogy, but even I know the original trilogy is what started it. I watched the prequel trilogy. A lot more people have enjoyed it. People have doubted it after the end of the prequel trilogy. But as soon as that actually dropped, every piece of content that came in chronological order from those episodes removed the loopholes, removed the holes in the story, and it actually made the original trilogy make sense, right? And then there was the sequel trilogy. Let's just be real, the sequel trilogy was bullshit. The only reason why the old characters came back there is because they were needed there for the exposure of the film. They were only there to get the film exposed, and they didn't have a major part in the film. Jeez, it's understandable, okay? It's understandable as to why Carrie Fisher's character got cut, because Carrie Fisher passed away, right? Harrison Ford, however, didn't need to have his character cut just like that. All the lazy writing that led to the ugliness of Star Wars was because Lucasfilm is being invaded by lazy piece of shit writers. All of them deserve to be responsible for the downfall of Star Wars. Not the normies and not the fans who believe that Star Wars should be more. Let's just be real about this. The casuals and the normies who did not watch the show, who did not watch this, are not responsible. The Acolyte should have been canceled before it launched. Thank God it got canceled after a full season. That makes it more humiliating for Disney. It should be a slap in the face for Disney and Lucasfilm, who was embedded with Disney values. It should be a real slap in the face for them. Really, it should be really a big slap in the face to tell them that this is not how Star Wars is made. This is not how events should unfold. No, abso-fucking-lutely not. No, that is not how you write, and that is not how you produce it. Absolutely not. Well, here we are, right? Here we are.
All of the bigoted ideology that they were subject to throughout the course of this show airing on Disney+. I understand that The Acolyte did not do as well as, say, The Mandalorian, but the viewership was not bad, and it was actually the second most streamed Disney Plus project this year. But the precedent this is setting to cancel this show just a month after its finale aired without even allowing the show to breathe or get a second season where it would have been able to work out the kinks that it did have is very scary and very concerning. Because what Lucasfilm is doing with this decision is allowing the bigots to win, allowing the bigots to run with this and decide, even if that's not the original intention of canceling the show, that they have won, that they are correct, that Star Wars needs to be white and male, and it can't be anything else.
Okay, so let's address the many different claims she made during that TikTok, beginning with the claim that The Acolyte got very good viewership. That is clearly not true if they're not getting a second season. Okay, if it was a profitable, very heavily watched series, they would likely be getting a second season. And on top of that, they already had a very steep hill to climb with a $180 million budget, which clearly they weren't able to achieve the viewership they were looking for. And on top of that, there's a lot of deflection of responsibility here, basically saying people didn't want to tune in because of a strong female lead, which is ridiculous because if you look at Star Wars itself, Rogue One had that, and it succeeded very well and had a very good audience score, almost 5 or 6 times higher than The Acolyte. So that's a ridiculous claim. And on top of that, if you look at
And after having watched Rogue One, it made me realize something. Why was Rogue One so much better? Why was Rogue One way better as a movie than how Acolyte is for an episodic series? The quality of Rogue One is better than the quality of the Acolyte, in which that series had a chance to better itself after each episode. If you guys are not going to be able to answer that thing as to why Rogue One itself is actually way better than the Acolyte, look, it all comes down to the writing. It all comes down to the cast choices. All the same, every policy that changes how creative writing works and how cast choices work will, of course, bring down the quality of your own work. Disney, Lucasfilm, you have not changed your ways. Mandalorian sucks now because of season 3, and you have only yourselves to blame for it.
the industry right now, House of the Dragon is doing great. If what she was saying about The Acolyte was true, then House of the Dragon would not be succeeding the way that it is now. You see other people raising the power of many. This is something people that have been raising all throughout the premiere of The Acolyte and in its aftermath when it was canceled. You see this person saying the finale of The Acolyte was tailor-made to set up a season 2 and the fans truly deserve to see where it could have gone. Ignore the people who don't want it. We want it. Who's with me? Well, clearly not many people because the show got canceled because likely it didn't get any good viewership. And on top of that, remember, I don't know if people saw this when it was happening. There was a little trend going around called There Are More of Us, where many different content creators were saying, there are more of us. You know, the hatred and the criticism of this show is just from a loud minority. The majority of us are receiving this show very well, and we love it, and we want more of it. And now people are saying that in wake of its cancellation. And all these people, they refuse to acknowledge that maybe the show just wasn't very good. Maybe, for example, people are critical of Amandla Stenberg in her main role because maybe she didn't do a very good job. Maybe she didn't have the range that was necessary for this role. And on top of that, her attitude towards fans is ridiculous. It was one of the reasons why people had such a spiteful attitude towards her. She dropped a diss track on Star Wars fans as the show was still airing. And I already know the preloaded response to what I just said. People say, no, Rev, that wasn't a diss track on Star Wars fans. That was a diss track on bigots attacking the show. Well, Amandla and all of these people defending the series, they label anyone who criticizes the show as a bigot. So I don't really think that is a fair label to give to this situation. They're basically labeling anyone who criticized the show or didn't give it a chance a bigot because they believe somehow their motivation for all of that was because they're racist.
You know what I actually think about the diss track thing? What exactly is the diss track? Hold on. Now I am actually curious. Amanda, the Acolyte diss track. What's the diss track that she had? Makes cringe victimhood diss track attacking fans. I mean, discourse? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? What the hell is this?
I'm going viral on Twitter again. Open up the news to find some interesting things. 20 million views in a view from 2018 with Trevor the King. When I was a teen, I was running from city to speak on the story. You know the one. Police murder and a black boy. Yeah, my people cried in the theaters, finally releasing. White people cried they could see us as human beings. Trevor asked what I want the people to know.
Oh my god. How many okay. Look, I don't know the entire the entire context of what you're saying here, but if this has something related to discrimination and racism against her category, oh my god. Oh my god. She doesn't even know what kind of niche she's supposed to be speaking up for or speaking up against when it comes to doing this shit. Are you serious right now? Look, I'm just gonna get back to this, okay?
And on top of that, that is the narrative they're trying to go with. Saying, congrats, bigots, you won. How does it feel? There's always this narrative, even with like the gaming industry right now, that people just want things to fail. No, they don't. People like seeing accountability. If a show or a product sucks, it gets canceled. That's a good result because we shouldn't be rewarding mediocrity in the entertainment industry. But on top of that, people want something good. Just because something is criticized doesn't mean it was doomed from the start, and also that everyone who's going after something is just some hateful bigot. On top of that, a lot of the responses people are having to the cancellation of the Acolyte are looking at things throughout the show that really just focus on the traits of the actors that were involved with the series. You can see this tweet. They canceled the Acolyte because they couldn't stand the sight of two hot people of color holding hands. But I will always remember. Here's another one saying, shameful how many people hate in good shows led by women, then complain when nothing new or original is made anymore. I'll always love this show and no one can't take the joy and excitement this show brought to many of us. The force is female. Suck it, incels. Here's another one saying, hashtag the Acolyte getting canceled because incels couldn't handle a sexy black girl and sexy Asian man serving evil, villainous romance. Holy TikTok language right there. But anyways, did you notice something in those past couple of tweets? Did you ever see them call the actress by their name, like Amandla, or even label them as the main actress? They just keep referring to them as black girl, Asian guy. Like, that is the most important thing in their view. It's not about the character they're playing, their performance. It's all about physical traits. It's a very odd thing to focus on and clearly a part of some sort of agenda that they're trying to push here. On top of that, you see tweets like this saying, Disney really just said F you to so many queer, people of color, and non-traditional Star Wars fans, all because the show got review bombed to hell and back before it even came out. Which again, the review bombing excuse is ridiculous. But on top of that, isn't it funny to see how Lucasfilm here tried to pander to a certain target demographic and then that demographic is still not happy and blames them and is angry at them. And on top of that, you see tweets like this saying, I'm really tired of sharing the franchise I love with toxic, misogynistic, immature racists and constantly seeing them being catered to, even though the rest of us have been here all along, wanting new and fresh stories that connect deeply with all of us. Here's another one saying, canceling the Acolyte is one of the worst decisions ever. It was a series that was finally pushing Star Wars into new, fresh directions and was set up for an even better second season. But a bunch of babies couldn't handle that, and now we'll be stuck with more of the same forever. Now, this thread really captures the victim mentality of a lot of these fans of the series. They're trying so desperately to paint this narrative that they're the victims and that these evil, terrible people who criticize the show are the reason it's not getting a second season. So let's read this thread. It says, a Disney Star Wars defender tries to fabricate death threats, gets caught, and scrambles to delete all their posts. Let's begin here. This user says both sides have extremes and that there's all kinds of toxicity flying around and threats, where the original poster of the thread says, show me the receipts then. And here is the receipts of these death threats this person's receiving on a personal level. And as highlighted by the original poster here, this person left this comment underneath their video. However,
Okay, sorry. I got the death threats only on the comments. KYS, if you actually like this woke garbage of a show, Star Wars is dead. Ah, man. Wait a minute.
however, this account belongs to the person sharing the screenshot because they forgot to crop out the reply bar here where it shows that they have the same profile picture. And if you go...
Oh my god! That's right! Oh my god! Oh my god! Yep. You are caught red fucking handed. Crop your pics. It would be even more convincing. You got caught red fucking handed.
reply bar here where it shows that they have the same profile picture. And if you go to the actual account, it was created on the day the screenshot was made. So this person literally created a burner account, left a threat underneath their own video, and then tried to pass it off as someone else threatening them. That is very pathetic. But overall, this whole discourse is very interesting. It's interesting on the one hand to see how Black Myth Wukong is having so much success after being attacked by the media and activists everywhere.
Ooh, Black Myth. Yeah, Black Myth Wukong was great.
These journalists and these activists has now failed. And that is a very good thing to see. That is how things should go. If you make a bad product, you shouldn't get any support. And if you make a good product, you should get support. But that is all for now. Very interesting discourse. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Oh my god, it was amazing. That was an amazing feat, guys. I will be commenting more on this thing later, but let me just tell you. Oh, okay, let's take 1 cent. Okay, good. I can make a comment at least on this one. Thank God. Okay, I'm going to be posting something on Twitter, and if anyone actually likes to bite me because they got a problem with the Acolyte being canceled, and my commentary on Kathleen Kennedy wanting to leave Lucasfilm because she wants massive success first, they can bite me and they can find me in my house. Yeah, I want them to go right fucking ahead because I got something to show you. Alright, guys, I got something to show you to make sure that this point does get across. Fucking Amanda. Alright, this is what I wanted to show you guys. Right here. It'll be important to you guys if you guys actually check it out yourselves. Basically, this is the thing. I tweeted, bite me, hashtag Star Wars, hashtag Kathleen Kennedy, hashtag the Acolyte canceled, hashtag the Acolyte, hashtag massive blah. You see, I was browsing through Facebook and I found this. Apparently, she made a statement that she wants to leave Lucasfilm, but the only thing the only condition that she would be leaving is that she wants to leave on the heels of a massive critical and commercial success. Immediately after that, after reading that, I commented, allow writing creativity over the forced social messaging you call diversity, equity, and inclusivity. There are noble goals in society, but forcing that message into the entertainment industry is just plain rotten. You should have known that by now, Kennedy, but we're not surprised either. People think we are idiots. People actually fucking think that we are idiots. Well, now they have an idea that we're not screwing around. Now they have an idea that we're not screwing around. If we're always going to take bullshit from them, they will keep repeating this. The Acolyte being the failure as it is today and being broadcasting anyway, it should not have happened at all. But of course it happened, and then it got canceled. Even more humiliating. It's even more humiliating. You finish a season, you think you can actually bankroll it so that you can actually go farther, but you fail. The failure, and more of the failure. Society will keep rejecting your bullshit, and I don't care about that. About what happened. Okay, hold on. Okay, Manny Jacinto, right? I can understand he's a Filipino-Canadian actor, okay? Let me just be real about this. His fans in the Philippines, Manuel Luis Jacinto is a Canadian actor. After several smaller roles in television, his breakout role as Jason Mendoza on NBC sitcom To Good Place. Yeah, he was also in The Acolyte, Maverick, and portrayed. He was Khmer in the Star Wars series Acolyte. Well, of course. Thank you very much, at least, for the little things that are actually there. The thing is, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter on the reprised roles he has. Okay? What matters is there has to be more integrity with a show rather than showing all the goals to change society as a whole. There's got to be more than that, guys. And let's be real. If that is always going to be forced down our throats, of course it's going to be quickly shut down. But of course, Filipinos watch The Acolytes. They don't understand how it was fucking made. They do not understand the disrespect The Acolyte represents to the actual Star Wars IP. Unfucking believable. My own people do not understand that The Acolyte disrespects Star Wars as a whole. Star Wars is more than just making stories. It's making people smile. It's making people inspired. Making people find the wonders in life than just getting involved in a fantastical bubble because of modern standards we now have in the world right now. It was supposed to be an escape. Movies and entertainment are supposed to be an escape, but here we are finding ourselves in reality just because bullshit that they're doing. Here we are. Not surprised. I am very much not surprised of it. I mean, who am I kidding? Would I believe that Star Wars is ever going to get better as long as it's under Disney? Marvel's not going to get any better because it is under Disney. So fuck no, I don't think Star Wars is going to get any better. Kathleen Kennedy needs to leave immediately. And she needs to leave as soon as I keep breathing. But nope, she's going to stay. She's going to keep racking up the money. Fuck Kathleen Kennedy.